Every single time you go to a website, there's this invisible conversation that kicks off, a super fast exchange between your computer and some server maybe halfway across the world. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and learn the secret language that basically builds the entire internet.
Think about it. You type a web address, you hit enter, and poof, the page just appears. But what is actually happening in that tiny little gap of time? It's not magic, I promise. It's a very structured, very fast conversation. So what are your browser and the server actually saying to each other?
To understand this conversation, we've got to learn the language. I mean, for the internet to work at all, every single browser and every web server, it doesn't matter who made them, they all had to agree on one single way to talk to each other, a kind of universal set of rules for communication.
And that language is HTTP. It stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now, protocol is just a fancy word for a set of rules. So you can think of HTTP as the official rulebook for transferring all the stuff you see online, web pages, images, videos, you name it, from a server all the way to your screen.
Okay, so every one of these HTTP conversations has two main players. First up, you've got the client. That's your web browser. Its job is to ask for things. On the other side is the server, which is just a powerful computer that's storing all the website's files. The client starts the conversation by making a request, and the server's job is to listen and respond. Simple as that.
So the client is ready to make a request, but how in the world does it know where to send it? You can't just shout it into the internet void and hope for the best. Just like sending a letter, a request needs a very specific, unique address.
On the web, that address is the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator. Yep, that familiar line of text you see in your address bar. Every single thing you find online, from the web page itself to every little image and video on it, has its own unique URL.
And a URL is actually pretty simple. It's broken into two main parts. The first part is the host name. That identifies the specific server you need to talk to out of the millions that are out there. The second part is the path name, and that tells the server the exact file you're looking for. Put them together and you have a precise address for any resource on the web.
All right, so we know who's talking, and we know the address they're using. So let's get to the good part and decode the actual messages. What does your browser say when it makes a request?
Well, a browser doesn't just ask vaguely for a page. It uses these specific commands called methods. The most common one by far is get, which pretty much just means get me this web page. But there are others, like post, which your browser uses when you submit a form. That one says, here is some information for you. Each method tells the server exactly what the client wants to do.
And what's wild is that under the hood, an HTTP request is surprisingly simple. It's just plain text. You or I could read it no problem. The first line is the most important. It's got the method, get, the path to the file, and the protocol version. The lines that follow are called headers, and they just give a little extra info, like which server to talk to and what kind of browser is doing the asking.
So after the server gets the request, it replies. And the very first thing it sends back is a status code. This is like a quick numerical summary of what happened. You've probably seen a 404 not found error before, right? Well, that's an HTTP status code. But the one you really want to see is 200 OK, which just means success. I found what you asked for.
A successful response message always starts with that 200 OK status line. That's the green light. The headers that come after give some details, like what kind of content it is and how big the file is. Then, finally, after a blank line, the server sends the good stuff, the actual data for the web page itself.
So, this system works great, but it had a huge bottleneck. See, modern websites aren't just one file. They're these complex mosaics of HTML, tons of images, and scripts. The original version of HTTP was designed for really simple pages, and it was painfully slow at fetching all these different pieces.
Yeah, the original version was called non-persistent HTTP, and it was incredibly inefficient. For every single object on a page, every image, every file, the browser had to open a brand new connection, ask for the thing, get it, and then close the connection. Each of those requires a full round trip across the network. If a page had 50 images, that meant 100 round trips. It was like making a separate phone call for every single sentence in a conversation. Just awful.
So to solve this, persistent HTTP was introduced. The idea is simple but totally brilliant. Just keep the connection open. Instead of hanging up the phone after one sentence, the client and server keep the line open, letting the browser rapidly request all the different page elements over that single connection. This one change cut down on delays like crazy and is a huge reason the web feels so fast today.
Okay, now for the best part. This secret language, this whole back and forth conversation, isn't a secret at all. You can actually watch it happen live, right inside your own browser. Let's do it. Let's become HTTP detectives.
You can do this right now in pretty much any browser. Just right-click on a web page and hit Inspect. That'll open up the developer tools. Find the tab that says Network, and then just load any website. You'll see a live feed of every single request your browser makes to build the page. It's awesome.
Now click on any of those items in that list, and you'll see the entire conversation we've just been talking about. The GET request method, the server's response code, hopefully a 200 OK, and the exact text of the headers. It's all right there, happening right out in the open.
So the next time you browse the web, just remember this invisible dance. It's a simple protocol, a series of plain text messages connecting clients to servers to build the huge, interconnected world we experience online. This conversation, happening billions of times every minute, built the web we know today. So what do you think it's going to make possible tomorrow?